weekend. We'll see you soon. Summer. At least here in America. Let's go! I'm fired up. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Greatly appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.
Oh, it's over.
We're back.
Oh, man.
I literally was about to close.
All right. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say, man, Ezra out, man.
You're done? Okay, let's get into it. All right, well, I'll clip this and send it out to viewers. Wow, you're done.
How can you dominate the whole game and not come out with a win? And everything's starting to unravel. Not only Ezra can't play offense, he's starting to lose his defensive posture that he built so much in the first few games of the season.
That's a good point. Like literally the past 2 games, we've let up 3 goals times 2. So and earlier in the season, we were doing great defensively.
And another thing too is that this team's not even disciplined.
Really?
Come on, Navarro giving away a penalty. The 3rd goal, nobody bothered to close down Pozuelo for that out of box. Come on.
That 3rd goal, Pozuelo, that was a beautiful shot from him. But still, where were the Fire defenders?
Yeah, they were just staring at him like, okay, well, this guy's gonna take a shot. He's not gonna make it. BS. It went in. I think honestly, I think I'm done with Ezra. It's the same thing every week. Oh no, we had injuries. Other teams have injuries. They manage, they win. The one thing Ezra is stubborn. He doesn't want to change formations. He doesn't want to change mentality. And that's the problem. That's like if you're playing Football Manager and using the same tactic, you're not going to get far. They're going to figure you out. The CPU is going to figure you out.
Right, you need something. You're right. You need like a not necessarily a home and away mentality. I don't know. In Football Manager, I find that if I have a home mentality and away mentality, I have more success. But we need to see that.
And the thing is that the fact that me and you know that, and he doesn't, or he's just too stubborn to change it, that's a lot of red flags there. That's like saying, I'm not going to change. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. I don't care what happens. He's literally captaining the Titanic.
The statistics were nuts tonight, DPG. The Chicago Fire on 63% possession had 32 shots. 32.
And I don't know how much say he has in bringing in some of these guys, but Shabilko is starting to look like a bust. I'm sorry to say this, but he's starting to look like a bust. I know he scored today, and I know, fine, he got a goal, but other than that, he I don't know what's going on with that guy. That guy can't score.
I didn't feel like he really helped the offense when he was out there, despite the fact that he scored. I know what you're saying. And as soon as you got John Jader Duran out there, it seemed like things were working a little bit more smoothly. But because he's faster, he's more spry, he's younger. I don't know. He just covers more ground than Kasper Przybyłko.
It's because on top of that, Shabilko cries for stupid things like, "Oh no, he touched the ball, it went out of bounds." Like, dude, the ref called it right. Just let it go. Stop crying about it. He missed a couple of sitters too. Like, a couple of shots that could have gone in, me personally, like I said, I think we made a really bad mistake getting Shabilko. We should have gotten somebody else. Probably would have been a lot cheaper.
Giassi Zardes.
Yeah. We need a finisher, and Shabilko's not a finisher. He is a guy that thinks he could hold up play and somehow work magic and score. And he can't even do that.
He had a chance to wrap it around his foot earlier, and he missed it, just totally flubbed it. I got chat weighing and asking, can we stream the Whitecaps for Sporting Kansas City? And I can't do that. I won't be able to do that. Sorry, brother. But I will be streaming other games in the future. Subscribe, hit that bell icon. Chris asked saying, that was disgraceful. I ain't even a Fire fan, but how the heck did Toronto beat the Fire there?
And that's the thing is that
37% possession, DPG.
Honestly, at this point, Fire Ezra just freaking put back Klopas. We might actually win with Klopas. It's hard.
I don't know because I feel like what are you gonna get with Klopas that you aren't already getting?
But the thing is, at this point, it's too late to bring anybody.
Yes,
You know?
it does feel like that. But if you're gonna make a change, you got to make it now. But who and what? It's like it becomes like this. It's hitting the panic button.
It is, and this is alarming. You know, you would think that, hey, there might be a formation change. Hey, you know, we might do something different this game around because, you know, we're expected to win. Maybe we could change up the formation. Maybe we could get a striking partner for Shaboko. That might help him. No, do the exact same thing over and over again, You know, and it's when you do the same thing over and over again, people figure you out quickly, and that's exactly what Tehran.
The fans disappear. They stop watching.
You know,
they get angry. They get disinterested.
Exactly, and the thing is that even teams are starting to figure out how Chichos plays. They're figuring him out. He's no longer the guy that keeps it together. Now they're going from the sides. They're using guys that are faster than him. They're figuring it out.
The frustration that you see on Chicharito's face these past 2 games, it's crazy. It's like, hey, and you know he cares. He gives a damn. He wants to play good, but I mean, he was smacking himself in the face. Did you see that on the game?
Yeah, he was pissed off.
It was like, dude, those were some vicious. I mean, there were some good whacks that he took at himself there. I was like, wow. But he's pissed. I don't know if he's. That's the other thing. DPG. I don't know if it's both, but is it, or maybe it's one or the other. But it's like I don't know if he's pissed at himself or if he's pissed at the team.
Shaqiri?
Yeah.
Oh man, he was pissed at himself because I seen him hit himself a couple of times in the head.
Okay, so himself. Well, so he's internalized.
He's pissed off at himself. But at the same time, I have seen him kind of go a little Higuain style, looking at the other players pissed off, like, why did you give that pass, or why did you give away that pass? You know, but it's the only thing that never changes besides Ezra tactics is his expression. When stuff's not going his way, he has that same stupid expression. Why is this happening? Why, like, come on, get a grip, and there's people right now on Twitter saying, well, we can't fire Ezra. If you're asking for Ezra out, you're being racist. No,
what?
You're not.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. We're not. You can't. Okay, that's a little. That's weird to me. Like, why do they got to make it about that? Because this is about the fire. This is about winning.
This is about winning. And look, and the thing is that if this was the Premier League, if this was even the championship team, Ezra will be gone by now. Because those guys, their patience stick is not that long.
Well, they're at the relegation. Their ass is on. Not only their ass on the line, but the team is on the line in a certain capacity.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And that's the thing. I think the Fire need to get that mentality. Like, hey, let's put that. Just pretend that you're in a relegation battle, or something. Something that will fire you guys up.
It's hard to, though. It's we've read some of these players like Omar Gonzalez. I remember reading how it was so hard for him to get up to play some MLS games because he just felt there was not a lot of stakes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like at this point, like, people will go on Twitter and say, "Oh, we can't, don't say Ezra out." If people say Ezra out, that means you're being racist. It's not. It's what we're seeing. It's the fact that we're not winning. I mean, how many losses do we have to take before people realize, you know what? I think it's time for us to leave.
That's really DPG. That kind of makes me upset. That's like really unfair of people to like go. I don't know. It's really unfair to go to people because here we are. We're giving this guy an honest chance to try and be successful with the Fire, but at some point we have to call we have to pull the plug on it. And when you go to pull that plug, it's like a loaded plug. Come on, like.
Yeah, and the thing is, we like. I think at this point, Ezra has been given probably one of the much better squads that we've had in the past couple of years.
I don't even think it's arguable. I think that he's been given the best squad of the last 2 coaches. Between him and Wiki and Pano, he has the absolute best squad right now. It's the best squad that the Fire have had in the last 7 years.
Exactly. And if you can't win, if people are giving you the tools to succeed, but you can't even do that, then why the hell are we keeping you on board? Why the hell, why can't the fans say, hey, we want this guy out? You know,
Yeah, Chris saying, why does it matter that Ezra's? Why does it matter that Ezra's? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
we want him to
it
win.
could be anybody.
It could be anybody. It could
be
anybody.
It could be a Martian or somebody. I don't care. You know, but if you're not winning, what's the point? And how long is this project gonna go on for?
8th year, DPG. I mean, seriously, because this you talked about it right when you came on, like they're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and they expect fans not to notice. Well, if you do it for 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 years, even though you change out the parts, you change out some things, and you're trying to make it work a little better. I do think the Fire are finally in the place to make it work better, but there's just so much wear and tear on this machine from the past failure that they need more time to fix this. And
yeah,
Ezra's not Ezra. I don't know if Ezra's the guy. And I was talking about this on the stream. Ezra's still not fully formed as that MLS coach yet. He's still a number 2 guy. He's not.
And the thing is that, believe it or not everybody that's an assistant coach is capable of being an MLS head coach. That's the honest truth.
But also, do we have to give him a season? Or have we already given him enough time? And that's the question you're asking and trying to answer. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me because here we are in last place again, deep into the season with what doesn't feel, this squad does not feel like a last place squad.
It doesn't. And the fact is that he's doing the exact same thing every game, the exact same thing. Like, that's like the definition of insanity, doing the exact same thing and getting the same results.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going on. It's like not even a formation change, not even a change of mentality. Like, hey, we're going more attacking. It's just the same exact thing. And teams are figuring out.
Chris, a Scotland fan saying, Christopher saying, Fire are a lost cause. I feel bad. Like there's no future there other than Slonina. And if he goes, the franchise would be screwed more, maybe, but selling Slonina will help them get funds for a rebuild. I disagree with a little bit of that.
I disagree with that a little bit too.
But I agree with a portion of it. But I don't think the Fire are a lost cause. I know what they do have a nice little thing with Slonina, but the Fire are so behind the 8 ball from other MLS teams who have all this other. I mean, yeah, we have a billionaire with all the money in the world, but it's an uphill battle because there's so many teams above us that have already been spending that for years ahead of time.
Not only that, but you also have small market teams that can make it work with whatever they have.
Yes.
You look at your Kansas Cities. You look at your Columbus Crews and teams like that. Well, Kansas City is horrible this year, but
yep.
Normally,
do you think he loses his job? I mean, his ass might be on the line. Peter Vermees
might lose his job. Who knows? We don't know. I definitely will give him more than a season because he's been there for so long, and he's the kind of guy that will turn it around.
I'm ready to pull the plug on Vermees, actually, myself. Well, although I'm not like a fan of the Wizards.
But if you think about it, Vermees has actually done pretty good with that Kansas City team.
Right. That's the other thing. The track record's there.
Yeah. Would I say? Am I even? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a Jason Christ situation, where he kept kind of, riding on that 2009 MLS Cup with Real Salt Lake. But going back to Ezra, everybody, there was people that wanted a more experienced head coach, and I don't blame them. I think
yes.
I think for situations like this where you're trying to rebuild, where you're trying to change the identity of the team, you need someone that knows how to win.
A strong identity.
Someone that's been on that hot seat. Someone that can actually manage a team, and do it, be tactically intelligent when the situation arises.
I
When
think
do
you
I
made a great
attack?
point. This team was begging for a Caleb Porter type, someone with an emphatic vision and a vision that works for MLS. And here we are still sampling, like once again sampling. Rafa Wicki, a lower U17 coach, sampling. And same thing with Pano, U17 World Cup winning coach with U17s, but still not leaders of men. And you got to get a leader of men and who can handle modern day personalities, also modern day tactics, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And the thing is that we're not getting that with Ezra. Ezra has been, he's been somebody else's number 2 for so long. It makes you wonder if he can actually be number 1. But the way that it's going right now in the season, I don't think he was meant to be a number 1. Because I wanted him to succeed.
I did so badly. I thought, on paper, he
like,
looks so good. He's got the pedigree. He's got the background of some of the best coaches on MLS. And you feel like he's got that in his locker. You should be able to apply that.
Exactly. And when it's like anything else in life, when you're in a bad relationship, sometimes it's better to walk away. And this is kind of one of those situations. Nothing's changing. Everything's going to crap. And yeah, maybe I'm pissed off today, but it's been like that for the past couple of games.
It's been building to this.
It's been building to this, and the fact is that Ezra's probably not going to do anything to change that.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be like, "Oh, well, the team needs more time to mesh." How much more time? How much more time? We're already almost at the halfway point of the season. How much more time do you want to give?
Yeah, that's the question. Damn it. And that's either this season is a done season. It's a sacrificial lamb of a season and it's lost and you're letting Ezra establish his identity, or you can't deal with this failure anymore. And you get somebody in here who could get this top 10 MLS squad or a top 15 MLS squad cooking like a top 15 MLS squad. It's not cooking like a top 15 MLS squad. And I guarantee you this squad is so much better than the 11th place Fire squad that was here last year. It's just so much better.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense that it is this bad. And that's why I talk about like the established rot. I feel like there's other things that are preventing.
But the thing is, Mansueto pretty much wiped off the whole front office. He added more people. He tripled the amount of people. And the thing is at this point, there has to come a point where we have to stop blaming the FO, and maybe start focusing on the coaching decisions that are being made.
But what about the FO who hired the coach?
Exactly.
Damn. So that that comes a little hard to separate sometimes too. And if they do go away from Ezra, I mean, it symbolizes hitting the panic button, and I just don't know how good that could be.
I might piss off a lot of fans, but the thing is, it's like, again, he hasn't changed his tactics. He's still going with the same mentality, playing defensive. And he's not a Moneyball type of guy, because he could have easily looked at the stats on how Shaboko plays by himself versus how he plays when he has a partner up front. It
reeks of desperation. To me, it's desperation. A lot of Georg moves, when you look at them through the lens now, reek of desperation. Enver saying it's so hard to be a Fire fan. And
it is.
And Christopher saying, honestly, Fire is like basically polishing turds.
It is. Like, I at this point, like, if Ezra could prove me, I mean, I'm begging for Ezra to prove me wrong. I'm begging him to like turn this around, and by the time we get to November, we're like in the thick of the playoffs or something, But at this point, it doesn't seem that way at all.
Chad said, "Get Ollie, Gunnar Solskjaer." No.
But no. And it's like, come on, and it's scary, the fact that our GM is clueless on what goes on in this league, because I saw better deals being made for attacking players. We saw the deal for Zardes.
I'm hammering home what you're saying. I'm just hammering on the screen. Keep going.
It's like, come on, he got him for half the price, less than half the price we paid for Shaboko. And look what's going on. You let go of Jordan Mohalovic, and look what's going on. It's like every player that we let go has success somewhere else. It's like come on, the GM has to go. He has to get the hell out.
We got to get both out. It's like, and I was telling people last year, I was like, we got to get rid of Garrick Heights, and then also he lands Shaqiri, and I start changing my tune.
Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't at this point. Shaqiri played a hell of a game. That's fine, and I'm glad he was able to pull that move. But I don't think that's gonna be enough to save his job, especially if you're at last place and you're paying Shaqiri $8.5 million a year. For a last place team.
Look at this team build. The roster spend over the last 7 years is actually insane. They've been in the top 8 of MLS for spending like every year for the past 7 years, but they have a bottom 28 MLS side year after year. It's like, what is going on? You don't have the right people spending your money, Joe. And Georg Heitz is not the right guy to be spending your money. Exactly. Go get Garth Lagerwey. What the fuck are you doing? Wake up, get over to Seattle, bring a whole wheelbarrow of cash. You'll probably need 30. I don't know. Just
truckload. He needs a dumpster full of cash, which will be
multiple trucks.
For Joe, it'll probably be a drop in the bucket.
Remember that Messi deal? They're saying, he would get like 25% of Inter Miami. Fuck that. Give that deal to Garth Lagerwey. Get him over here. That man's worth it. That man is worth it.
And the thing is that the way that George Heitz came on board this Fire team, I guess the Fire went through some sort of like sports management agency to get him. I say, stop messing with these agencies that are being headhunters for your club, and actually go ahead and hire the best guy for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Garth Lagerwey, he's seen his track record.
Right.
Screw paying the middleman. Just go directly to him and say, hey, here's a blank check. Tell me how much you want for me to bring you to Chicago.
DPG, it doesn't take a committee. It's not fucking rocket science. You hop on a play, on the way to the play, before the play, you call fucking Garth Lagerwey's people, and you say, hey, I'm coming there at this time. Let's meet, make sure it's all good. Then you go, and you make it happen. It's that simple.
You give the man a blank check, and you tell him, what's it going to take for you to come to Chicago?
You don't need a committee, and you don't need to overthink this. You just go get Garth Lagerwey. And you give him whatever he wants. You give him whatever he wants to get over here. There's nobody else in MLS that I want for this job in Chicago. Plus, he's a Chicago boy. He's a Chicago guy. He's an Illinois boy. Bring him home. Exactly. And let him make Chicago Fire into what they were always supposed to be. DPG, you know this as well as I. We're Chicago Fire fans for the last 20 years. All of my life, I've been a Chicago Fire fan. So have you. We're that old. All our lives. And they were good for 98 to 2002. 98 to 2002, they were good. They had some enjoyable years after that. A couple enjoyable seasons, couple fun
2006
times.
US Open Cup,
But after 98 to 2002, besides those one-offs every once in a while, hasn't been that great. And then it's been steadily getting worse and worse and worse all of a sudden. And then for the last decade, maybe even decade and a half, it's been misery.
Yep.
And something's got to give. And it's like being an LA Clippers fan. A Pittsburgh Pirates fan. It's like, and it's like, it doesn't make sense because we're Chicago. That's the same thing that LA Clippers fans would be like, we're LA. Why are we? But they're not the Lakers. But we feel like we're the Lakers. We're Chicago. We should be getting Laker-like treatment from the league, from players, from signings.
You have an owner that has very deep pockets. He's the richest sports owner in Chicago. He's probably the richest sports owner in MLS. There might be one or two above him.
Arthur Blank or whatever, the Atlanta guy too, is probably up there.
Yeah, he's probably in the top 4 of how rich is the owner.
Right.
Why? It shouldn't be that hard to bring somebody that knows what they're doing on board to this team. Mm-hmm. Bring a GM. Someone, hey, if you need to go to last year's MLS championship team, or the guy that's been running Seattle, Garth Lagerwey, or anybody, you bring them on board. Hey, and if you need a head coach, you need Caleb Porter, you bring him on board. You can do that. You have deep pockets.
Exactly.
You can literally pay off Don Garber.
Why are we sitting here with Georg Heitz? Why are we sitting here with Ezra? Why are we sitting here with question marks instead of what we know is the real deal? And when we have the money to go pay for the real deal, why are we wasting our time on question marks? Do we got to be the smartest guys in MLS? No, I want to be winning. If you want to get winning, you go get the guys who win. It's that simple, DPG.
You don't experiment. You don't say, oh, well, maybe we should go this direction. Oh, let's bring a newcomer coach. You don't do that when you're trying to reinvent the club culture that's been going on in Chicago. You're trying to fix it. You're trying to repair whatever damage the previous ownership did to this team. You want somebody that can hit the ground running.
Sode's saying life is pain, but he's also saying that there's absolutely zero reason to doubt Ezra at this point. He has what he has to work with, and that's it. But that's my question, Slow Days. Doubt Ezra. Ezra is what he is? Or is that what you mean? Because if there's nothing left to doubt on Ezra, and he is what he is, then he should be gone. I just want to follow what you're saying here. Just clarify, because you know the tweetings and the readings.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like he has a bunch. Like, imagine if Caleb Porter had this type of roster. What he will do with this roster?
I feel like he'd be doing a lot better than this. So they're saying you don't get winning coaches with MLS experience often in MLS. It's true. They don't grow on trees. There's only a handful out there, and they're on the best teams already. How do you pluck those guys?
Exactly, but sometimes money talks, and you could plug. You could pluck those guys if you really want.
I mean, look at Caleb Porter. He won a championship with Portland, and they were willing to let him go, and then he goes and wins the championship with Columbus.
Exactly. So it's not a matter. Come on, you look at. I hate to say it, but look at Bob Bradley. Mm-hmm. Somehow LAFC convinced him to come back from whatever championship debacle he got himself into in England. Mm-hmm. And somehow Toronto managed to pick him up.
He's having a bad season, though. He's having not a good season over in Toronto.
And the thing is that we're becoming that team that turns around for other teams.
Yeah, Toronto in 12th place, Chicago in 14th. Sloday's saying that Ezra doesn't choose the team. I don't know what you mean by that, because he does choose the team.
Look, I'm sure.
Sloday's, I'm trying to clarify just for because like Ezra chooses the starting 11. He doesn't choose the players they sign. I agree with you on that, and that's on Georg Heitz.
Well, here's the thing. You don't think Ezra sits in some of these meetings and even Heitz has mentioned, oh yeah, we talked to Ezra about this and he was in agreement. Mm-hmm. You don't think that Heitz has talks with Ezra about who to bring on?
He definitely has talks, but I wonder what the level of communication is, because we've seen it with Heitz before, saying throwing Wiki under the bus. He's like, Wiki's not my friend. I was like, what do you? Yeah, he's not my. What is your first coach hire? What? He's not your friend? What the fuck is that?
I hate to say this, but I think I hate to bring this guy up, but I think Nelson and Pano had that relationship where they were both making decisions on who to bring on board.
They were in it together. You definitely felt like Nelson and Pano were on the same page, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Where I don't necessarily get that feel with Georg Heitz and Ezra Hendrickson. Didn't get that with Georg Heitz and Rafa Wiki, so why should we get that with Georg Heitz and Ezra Hendrickson? Sloday's saying that MLS, Caleb Porter's had bad years too, but yeah, he's also had 2 championship wins. He's one of the most winningest coaches in MLS history. Also, he's won MLS Cups with 2 different teams. Not many MLS coaches out there have done that. Sure, he's had bad years, but you take the good with the bad with some of these guys. And right now we're getting all of the bad with Ezra, and we're saying, where's the good?
Exactly. Where's the good? You won championships, but you were the assistant coach.
MLS doesn't allow to pluck coaches from other teams. That's a huge no. Porter wasn't let go. He left. He did leave. There was a breakup in Portland, but you're right. We're not going to just go grab an MLS coach, I think is what Sloday's is saying.
Here's the thing. There's been times in the past where teams have done that, and the best thing that MLS could do was probably, force the other team to pay some sort of funny money. It doesn't matter about funny money when you have one of the richest owners in the MLS.
Right. But you need an MLS GM who understands the fucking mechanisms to how to use that money. And we don't have that guy. We've got a guy who knows how to pay money, big money for players, busts, send good players,
you have a guy that's writing blank checks.
Writing blank checks. So they saying LFC let him go and Toronto picked Bradley up. They didn't poach him. Yes, they let Bradley go, but Bradley was out there. Bradley was the play to go get this season.
And the thing is that there was already rumors of Bradley going to Toronto even before he was let go by LAFC.
Well, his son's there, so it was pretty obvious. But I just said I think that's a mistake to be coaching your kid at that level in his playing career. 3 years ago, I would have been fine with it, but like it's getting to the point where Michael Bradley's getting up there in age, and he might have to sit a few more games, and that's a hard decision to make as a dad and an MLS coach. So come over to Chicago Fire.
I was gonna say this: slow days. If you're willing enough, if you have the pockets deep enough, you can make stuff happen in the MLS.
I think so.
We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen with different teams. We've seen teams that have deeper pockets that have gone and done whatever they want.
You can't tell me money doesn't talk.
Exactly.
Because money talks. And we got money. But the other thing is we're not spending it in the right places. We talked about it earlier in the podcast. Why are we spending all this grade A money on second-rate talent or mystery boxes? I don't need a mystery box for $50,000 when I got $1 million and I could go get the best. And I'm getting the clearance to go spend the $1 million. I don't have to spend $50K and have a mystery box coach on Ezra Hendrickson. I'll spend the $1 million and go get Bob Bradley.
I will say, I think the smartest move that's been done with this team is probably signing Chris Mueller.
Mm-hmm. That seems like one of the best moves. Yes.
And honest, maybe Jairo Torres might be a somewhat distant second, but the fact is that we have spent so much money, and the two guys or the one guy that we practically got for free is pretty much performing better than the guys that we paid a crap load of money for.
I like Jairo Torres too. I've liked Jairo Torres a lot when I've seen him.
You know what I want. Honestly, if I could trade in Shaqiri for MLS players that are proven and can make difference, I was trade him in a heartbeat.
Wow, you would trade Shaqiri? I mean, like, there's players out there that would help more. Albert Rusnak, Rusnak over in Seattle would help. There's a Roldan would help. Zardes would help. A different box-to-box midfielder would help. A better box-to-box midfielder. And
again, Shaqiri played a hell of a game today, and no doubt he's really good. But there are times where he kind of just he sometimes looks out of shape. He is not that brilliant attacker that we saw playing for Stoke or for the Swiss national team or for Liverpool, for Bayern Munich. It's like he's only 31 years old?
31. I'd have to double check that.
But he's sometimes his hustle's not there anymore, At least, when we had Schweinsteiger, he tried to hustle, but he, obviously he couldn't.
Yeah, he tried to hustle, but damn me, man. He just didn't have the leg strength. Sometimes just his legs were down. Slowday saying MLS doesn't allow. He's correct on this. MLS doesn't allow competition for coaches or GMs. That's the entire reason that Lagerwey wasn't allowed to come here earlier. I mean, because we know that Carlos, what's his face, or whatever, the Don Garber did step in because Fire did want to get Lagerwey, but apparently. He got in the way. Bradley, it also saying Bradley didn't want the money. He just wanted family at this point. So money didn't matter in that one.
Bradley's already at the point of retirement. I think he's just going to call it quits if Toronto fires his ass.
Yeah.
But the thing is
you think so?
Yeah, I think he's done with coaching. If he moves to Toronto to be closer to his son and his family, whatever, then it sounds like it's a twilight for him.
Wow, that's a good read. I think that's a good read on the situation there, DPG.
And another thing too is a couple of weeks ago, there was an article on Joe Mansueto stating that he wants his league to be a lot more open than what it is.
Yes.
And if he gets enough of his rich buddies that have deep pockets in MLS, they might make it happen.
He wants to be able to open up take the governor off the car, so to speak, and be able to spend the fucking dough, bringing some of the best players, bringing some of the best talent. And that's also what's limiting the Chicago Fire as the MLS rules, but also the fact that the person running the team, the GM, is not so great at knowing those rules and knowing the league mechanisms and how to take advantage.
I'm telling you, we've seen this happen where teams have twisted the arm of Don Garber and have made things happen. They have twisted the rules
They
to make
have.
things happen.
It's possible. I know that it doesn't happen, but money talks.
Money talks. Look at LA. Look at LA Galaxy.
I want to believe that money talks. Look at LA
Look at-
Galaxy. Look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You telling me that he was on a TAM deal that first year? Because that's what they tell us. You're telling me he wasn't getting millions of dollars from some other location?
Exactly. It's like if
Money
there
talks.
are teams that will twist the arm of Don Garber to make things happen.
And Chicago
Slowly.
Fire, I expect to be one of those teams, but they're not. Instead, Toronto is one of those teams. Instead, Seattle is one of those teams. And I'm wondering, where is Chicago's turn? When is it Chicago's turn?
And slow days, come on. If you paid attention to this league, you have seen a lot of stuff that goes under the table. Teams actually making moves that normally wouldn't be approved by the MLS, but the MLS turns a blind eye.
Sode is definitely an OG. I think he's been following this channel for like at least 4 years that we started, but he's definitely seen it. I feel like he just doesn't want. He can't trick himself into believing it yet. Well, because where we're like, we're done with this. He's not done with this yet. And you and I are like, done with this. Use the money. Go do something with the money. But he's also being realistic in certain ways, saying like, some things that money can't buy. There are some things that money can't buy. And maybe Garth Lagerwey is one of them. No!
I mean, I don't know. I think honestly, if Joe Mansueto really wanted to make moves, he will literally get on the phone with Don Garber and figure it out
right now. Yep, absolutely. Joe Mansueto, call me, give me Don's number. I'll go talk with Don. We'll get it going.
And if you think that Don Garber is not gonna pick up that phone, damn, he's gonna pick up.
He won't pick it up for me. He'll pick it up for Joe. But Slow Days, I mean, this is something that I feel that Slow Days just brought up. That it's true. And Chicago's the league whipping boy. Like, we never get the breaks. And that's what I think that's what's made Slow Days a little less respondent to the idea that money will talk in these situations, because Chicago doesn't get those breaks. The Didier Drogba's run away to go play for Montreal instead of coming to Chicago. I mean,
a lot of those moves were done because the old regime didn't want to cough up the cash. Simple as that. Really? They're gonna lie to us and say, "Oh no, Drogba just said he wants to go to Montreal." Really? Or the whole thing that happened with what's his face? The guy that ended up going to New England.
not Gil.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Not Gil.
The one that we had a blind draw.
Oh, and it was somebody really good. I can't remember their name either.
I can't. Yeah.
But another time that we got screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Slow Days remembers for sure. Also saying that Mansueto wants to open the league up to a salary cap and take away those other stupid money restrictions, the TAM, the GAM, all the fucking silly laws. They should.
Yeah, exactly. It should. If this league is trying to shape out to be like whatever the NBA or the NFL or MLB is, put a salary cap. Get rid of all these stupid, TAM, GAMs, just hardcore cash. And a salary cap.
Slow Days with a great point, but I also have a slight rebuttal to it. But saying, great point though. Remember that MLS is a single entity. We can't forget that MLS is a single entity. Garber is the president. He is in control of everything. Mansueto is essentially just like a partner without seniority. Yes, that is true. However, despite that single entity status, they are a single entity. They will do what is best for the league. And if what is best for the league is to get Garth Lagerwey out of Seattle and over to Chicago to foment the success that we've been wanting for years in Chicago, Seattle's not going to fall apart just because Garth Lagerwey leaves. They're humming. Yeah. But if they can bring Garth Lagerwey over and make another team in MLS just as good or as powerful as Seattle, it's within MLS's interest as a single entity to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And
it was Jermaine Jones, says Slow Days. Yep. That was a player, Jermaine Jones, with the blind draw.
Jermaine Jones, yep.
Good
And
shout, man.
the thing is those wheels of power for MLS, it'll turn. I'm sorry to say this, for the right price.
You got to think they will. And it's because the right price means league growth. How do you get the league to grow? Here's the thing. There was a question out there a couple of years back. It was like Alexi Lalas or Twellman, one of them. And they said, what's the one club in MLS that the league doesn't even need? And the answer is Chicago Fire. They don't need Chicago Fire. But if they had a thriving Chicago Fire, think about how much more powerful and more established the league would be.
Exactly. Third largest market in the U.S. and it has a crappy team.
For years, for over a decade, and just no interest with the sports pundits, no interest on the sports radio, 6,000 to 10,000 fans a game.
And we also probably have one of the larger stadiums in the league. Maybe not soccer specific, but it holds 60,000 something people.
And despite being there for the last 4 years, they only just signed their marquee player, Xherdan Shaqiri, who some say is overweight. and that's their marquee player.
Yeah, it's the power of Cube. And yeah, Cube is the correct question, the correct answer.
Power of Cube. Chat, DPG, it's been fun talking soccer with you. Dude, concerned for the Fire. I don't know how they turned it around right now without time. I mean, time is, of course, the answer to a lot of questions, but time plus what? There's a couple moves that need to be made.
Yep. Tons of moves that needs to be made. But I think to start off, get rid of the GM. And if nothing changes between now and November with Ezra, if we're still in last place in October, might consider getting him out too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe start fresh next year.
I feel like they're attached to the hip. If Heights goes, Ezra goes, unless you manage to bring in Lagerwey, because I mean Ezra as a Lagerwey guy, he's got Lagerwey connections. So I see that's the only way Ezra could keep his job if we get a new GM. So they say it's dumb, but I think that they look at the lack of fans and say, we don't need Chicago. That's what MLS is saying. And if they did think that they needed us, then they would push harder to invest. But guess they did, guys. Sodes, Don Garber's guy, Nelson Rodriguez, brought in Joe Mansueto. So there is a plan here, guys. Like, we want to think that there's no investment, there's no plan, they're totally abandoned Chicago, but we gotta remember, in the last 5 years, Don Garber did get us a billionaire owner. Now we have to give that time for that billionaire's owner money to trickle into the various places and to push out the rot of the previous regime.
Yeah, and it's another thing that bothers me is the fact that, for being Chicago, there's so much talent in and around the city that it's scary that when you hear about players that are really talented, they're like all-stars in other teams, and you find out they're from the Chicago area.
Yes.
Like, where's the scouting department? Where's the talent acquisition? Where is that? That's where you need to put your money at.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also need the people in charge to be able to make the right decisions.
Exactly.
And we're not sure that Gary Kites is that.
Nope.
Is that guy.
He's not. And
Mansueto is a businessman at heart, says Sodes. So what is his plan for the business of the Fire? It can't be good business for the Fire to keep being so bad, and for the disinterest in the team to remain so secure and solid and solidly disinterested. It's just in the city I'm talking about.
And all we need to do is win.
All we need to do is win.
And if we recall 2017, when we were actually on fire, no point intended, we were on fire. We were selling out Toyota Park.
It was a blast. That's when I was a season ticket holder, and there was a certain point right after that, though, not too long after, like a year later, where it's like you couldn't give away your tickets. To some games you couldn't make.
There was, oh my God, there was times where that place will sell out in 2017, and it'll be crazy. Mm-hmm. And it didn't just sell out once. It sold out a couple of times.
Yep.
And it's not that people don't care about soccer. It's the fact that we need a win. you win. I mean, you're doing everything else right. I get it. You're bringing back that old Chicago Fire identity back. That's great. You're trying to reconnect with those old school fans. Even better. But at the end of the day, if you want to be relevant in this city that has tons of professional teams, all you have to do is win and keep winning, and people will jump on the bandwagon like crazy.
So Slode's saying, is Mansueto's plan to win and to get fans in the seats? Or is it to develop and sell young players? Well, you also need a winning program to be able to truly develop and sell young players. If you don't have a winning program, the players aren't developing properly, and you're not selling them for enough profit.
And not only that, you won't have those young players that are really good. They might think twice about signing a contract with the Fire.
Exactly. Ajax sold $300 million players over the past few years. Joe hired a guy that is known for developing, selling players, but he also brought it to a team that is lacking in the ability to develop and sell those young players.
And you know what? If he wants to do that, that's fine. But at the end of the day,
this is a good point. I'm sorry.
If you have a young player and he has a choice between, signing with the Fire or taking his chances and, either becoming eligible for the draft or even going to Europe, the way this team is going, who do you think he's going to go for? He might think twice about signing with the Fire.
They might think twice, but he also might think twice. How does the investment pay off, though, with 25, 30K seats a few times in a year or selling talent? I think selling talent is going to make you more money. But once again, it's a lot harder to sell a player from a bad team for profit. Do you see what I mean? But selling a player from a winning team is a lot easier. You'll make more money here.
Exactly.
But so it is with a great point saying, why did he choose Heights, though? Why did he choose Heights as a GM? It's obviously to sell young talents.
And the thing is that I think, if I remember correctly, they brought in Heights because I think either Joe or the Laz regime or Andrew Hoffman, they went through some sort of like sporting agency to try to match a good, some sort of general manager or even a coach to the right team. Almost like a how can I put it? Almost like a Indeed for sports clubs. Because this certain sports agency has been used by different teams in the MLS, and unfortunately, they thought that George Heiss would be a good fit for the Fire, and it's not happening.
No.
So
for the business of it, if he's selling players, that's why Torres came. Heights isn't here to win right away. He's here to develop talent over the next decade. Seems to be the plan, or at least seems to be the suggestion. When you're looking at the outside, and I agree with this determination what Slode is offering here. From the outside looking in, if you're looking at why Georg Heights is here, he's here to sell and develop talent. But he needs a program that wins and is able to develop talent.
But not only that, but he's already doing a crappy job. He got rid of Jordy Mihailovic, and he's blowing up in Montreal. That would have been a nice profit for the Fire if they would have kept him.
Oh, yep. He is blowing it. And Sodes does not debate that. Sodes does not debate that he's blowing it. I think he's saying that Ezra is not getting, but here's the thing. Ezra's got the best team that the Fire have had in the last 7 years. So
exactly,
it's both for me. It's both Ezra being not good enough as an MLS coach, capable coach. But once again, MLS capable coaches don't grow on trees. Sometimes you have to grow them yourself. And that's what the Chicago Fire are trying to do here.
But it's not working. And I honestly believe that if Pano had this team, he'd probably be winning more games. At least Pano used to switch up the tactics whenever things.
Wow. Do you bring Pano back?
I wouldn't bring him back, but I'm just saying.
Oh my God. That just ruined the show.
I'm just saying, just thinking, just playing like match the coach. Like, you look at all the coaches we had in the past 10 years. This is probably one of the much better teams on paper. And if Ezra can win with this team, he's probably not going to win with any other team. So I mean, what gives? Like, coaches literally will jump to the opportunity to manage a team this deep on paper.
So they're saying that's why Heights hasn't really cared to learn the ins and outs of the rules here. They don't matter right away to Mansueter or Heights. If they're in it for the long game, he's right. Because if they're eventually maybe moving to that salary cap, maybe the rules don't matter. Heights doesn't need to know the mechanisms. Soda is also saying good team, shitty refs, bad run of injuries. I'm saying good team, shitty refs. I don't really think it's been a bad run of injuries.
Nope. Other teams have injuries.
No, I'm not seeing a bad run of injuries with the Fire. Please point to me where there's this bad run of injuries.
And if you're going to say,
I'll also point to you a bad coach, though. I'll see a coach that isn't good enough. I mean, that's easy to point out. Pano's teams had no identity. That's the problem with Pano's teams. They had no identity.
No identity.
At least Ezra's team early on here had identity. We saw it. We did see an identity with Ezra.
Yeah, but that was taken apart pretty quick.
Can they pick that back up?
If Ezra's gonna stick with that same formation, it's not gonna. Nope, I don't see him picking it up. I can't see it.
I don't know if it's necessarily the problem with the formation. I don't know if it's a problem with the picking of the players. I feel like it's a problem of time and timing. They just got their two best players on the wing. 12 games into 13 games into the season, they played their first 14 games into the season. They played their first match together.
You also got to think about it this way.
Yeah.
You also got to think about it this way. Okay, so I get it. Jairo Torres has been hurt. You know, Ezra's been bringing him on board. You know, on for a couple of minutes and here and there. Why not start with your whole squad, even if you have guys that are hurt, and then sub them out in the second half? You know. Why put them in a situation where somehow they have to adapt within the next 10 minutes, and even then it might not be enough time for them to adapt to the game.
At first I was going to disagree with what you're saying, but I also agree with what you're saying when I realized, because like you're right, they get trapped into the game rather than having the out.
You know, sometimes it's better to knock out the team in the first half, put 3 in the back of their net, and then just cruise the second half defensively or whatever. Make those changes.
So here's the injury report from Slow Days. Shaqiri out for a month. That was a couple games, but we should have been able to. We should have been able to have success at some point. Chico's out for 4 games. 4 out of 14. Still here for 10. And I think that's about the same for Shaq. Herber's out for 2 months. Who gives a shit? Herbers doesn't fucking matter to this team. Torres out for 3 games, also doesn't fucking matter to this team. Torres does matter to this team, but the 3 games that Torres was out for this team, that don't fucking matter. Goody out for several games, also doesn't fucking matter. He's not important enough. These are jokes of injuries. These are jokes of players. These are good players that are up and coming, but we need. But look at guys, these are the players that we're talking about that we're saying we're missing. Oh, come on. This is fucking pathetic, guys. This team is not good enough. It needs to be better. It needs to be better in so many more positions. This is not the injury bug that's hurting this team. It's more than that. It's a lack of a good coach who has a fucking plan, who's got a solidified plan. Yes, he's a new coach. Yes, he's new. But you know what? He isn't good enough.
He's not.
And that's what it is right now. Maybe he does become good enough in a couple more games. That's what we have to give him. I'm not saying it has to be pulled the trigger on yet, because I don't see the replacement. I just don't see the replacement out there yet. Like,
we're treading water.
Unless you want to bring in Matias Almeida. Do you really want to bring in Matias Almeida?
And the thing too is, it's like, he's not gonna change. He's just not gonna change the mentality. And the fact is that if you're gonna blame, we had players that were injured. You know, we had one guy. This guy was injured on this game, or this other guy. So you're telling me that your whole team's gonna collapse because one guy is hurt?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. All the other teams in MLS figure it out.
Yep. You're going to tell me that your whole game plan is going to collapse because 1 or 2 guys are hurt?
No, and that's what I'm seeing, though. No, you know, DPG, you just fucking said it. Because when Chicos is out, the whole game plan collapses. Is that on Chicos? Is that on the team build? Or is that on fucking Ezra Hendrickson's game plan?
Exactly. It's like, You're telling me that because one guy is out, the whole team is just gonna collapse? Because if that's the case, that's not good. That's not good team management right there.
I know it makes me question. It makes me question things. But Slow Days' point does stand that those are games. I mean, there's 14 games, and you lose Shaq for 4 of them. You lose Chicos for 4 of them. That's a third of the games almost.
But the thing is that we lost Shaq for 4 games, but it was just Shaq.
But it was just Shaq. It didn't even feel like you missed much. I mean, like they should have been able to figure something out.
You know, there's a big difference when you say, well, we didn't have Shaq or Chicos or Torres all at the same time. They were out, you know, or Herbert's, whatever. You know, that's different than saying, well, we were missing Shaq these 4 games. And then the next month we were missing Chicos for these 2 games, like, or 3 or 4 games, whatever. So you're telling me that this whole team rides on 1 or 2 guys? Because if that's the case, that's not good.
So they're saying though, So does say though, it's never one guy at a time. Give me a break. He says it's always 3 or 4 at a time. Now he's got a point, because there was like a rash of games where we had 2 red cards. We lost like 2 key guys for the next 2 games in a row. He's got a point. I do remember we lost multiple key guys for a couple games in a row. I agree, but losing 3 games is not the fucking season that we're talking about. You know what? Maybe it is actually, guys. Slow Days, DPG, guys, chat. It is the 3 games difference is what we're talking about, and the Fire are in the playoff hunt. Those 3 games. So the injury bug did maybe hurt us those 3 games. But maybe more time is needed. Maybe, I mean, as we analyze this,
we could have won versus the Red Bulls.
Yes,
you know, we should have won today.
Should have won today.
You know, we should have at least tied New York City FC. Like, it's, first of all, you know, another thing, you mentioned the red cards. So there's no discipline in this team. What I'm getting at too is you're getting guys that are getting stupid yellow cards, stupid red cards for stupid stuff. Like, there's no discipline. So not only do you have a man management system or a team management system, now you have a discipline issue. Come on, whatever Navarro pulled today to get that penalty, stupid move.
Slow Days though saying that you win three games and we're a playoff team. That's what I said too. And then we aren't having this conversation. The fact is that they did lose that coin flip here in the first third. Now it's just the first third of the season. There's still 2/3 left to go.
And like I said before, like, I want Ezra to prove me wrong.
Right, we do. Absolutely.
But the fact is that the way things are going from game 1 to, what is it, game 14 or whatever it is.
If you watch that MLS track thing, you know what I'm talking about, where they showed like the MLS team, the Chicago Fire would go up to the top, second MLS, and then plummet to the absolute bottom of MLS.
To the abyss.
And they've been there for the last 3 weeks.
Exactly. And that's the issue going on now is, you know, nothing has changed. He hasn't done anything different.
I think something has changed. And Slow Days brings it up. It's a young team. And the young team is growing. It's not a flower. It's not a bush yet. This bush is still growing its leaves. It's still growing in size.
But the thing is, we're not talking about kids fresh out of the academy. You mentioned young guys. You're talking about a guy that, for example, Torres, he just won Liga MX last season. You talk about Chris Mueller. He's been in the MLS with Orlando, and he's gone to Scotland.
Right.
You know, we're not talking, you know, when you mention young guys, I think guys like Brian Gutierrez.
But we are depending on a lot of these guys. Like, we know that this team is not as when we came into the season, we were questioning its depth because we're going to have to rely on young guys instead of MLS veterans in a couple key positions where it seems like you could easily go get an MLS veteran. And that relying on the young guys is what we're seeing happen right now.
Yeah, this would have been a perfect situation to bring an MLS vet to kind of help these young guys, you know, get through games sometimes. You know, and I get that, you know, Chicho's has done that to a certain extent. He's done that a lot, but I don't think just him is enough. And then you look at Bornstein. Bornstein plays on the bench. You know,
Bornstein should not be a winger.
and you know, he's used for erratic positions, like, you know, I get as much as I love Jonathan Bornstein, to me, that guy, He is a great all around great guy, great teammate, great. But we want to win here, and sometimes you got to let those guys go.
You can't win the league with 11th or 28th place talent. We still have some 28th place talent on this team, but I do think that we have 5th to 12th place talent on this team. Like, it's so much better than it's been. Now, Slowday's also saying that was never a PK ever. The refs have been ridiculous on some of these matches. There have been some crazy ref calls.
There have been, but you know, it could happen to us. We get ref calls, all the weird ref calls too. So it's the teams that manage that.
This is a good point too, though. Torres has had one start. Mueller is our best offensive player, and we've been depending on our offense on Guti, Duran, on sometimes 04, and even Federico Navarros. All are super young. Turan, yeah, but also we have a lot of talent out there. Shaqiri, Prisha Bilko, Chicos, Gaston Jimenez, who are old heads.
Yeah, exactly.
And they should be able to make up for the difference. At least you would think. Or help.
You know, Federico Navarro is playing.
You don't need Johnny on this team. I'm sorry. You don't need Johnny Bornstein on this team one bit. I disagree with you 1,000%. So as a leader, Johnny Bornstein is a great leader, but you don't need him on this team. We need to get better. It's time for Johnny just to become a coach.
I would love to see him as a coach. I would love to see him as a fire coach. I would love to see him as a coach, period. You know, but the thing is, you know, I don't consider 04 a young guy. I think 04 is a bust at this point.
I can't say it. We came out today and played. He actually showed up, played some defense for a moment.
You know,
he actually showed. He tackled the guy. I saw it happen.
I get that, but come on. It's a big issue when your strikers tackling people because, you know, fine, take that same intensity and go score a goal.
Mm-hmm. He almost did.
He almost did, but almost doesn't cut it.
But maybe you know, take Prisha Bilko out, put Duran up there at that point.
You know what? I was thinking that too in my head. I'm like, why don't you just start Duran over Shabilko? Because Shabilko's hot garbage right now.
04 is 21, super young. So is Jader Duran. So is Slonina. Yes, they definitely are. I mean, even Miguel Navarro is young.
They're young, but come on.
But 22 is not young in soccer years. I'm sorry to say. Most of these professionals are they're 22. They're starting in EPL.
Well, look, not only that, but look, you think about it. Duran was playing in the first division in Colombia.
Yep.
He was already a professional before he even joined the Fire.
Before he was even eligible of age to join the Fire, he was a professional in Colombia at First League. It's true.
Federico Navarro was playing in Argentina. I think we got him from a club team in Argentina. Who else? 04 was playing for like the first division of, I don't even know
some Swede or Nordic
Estonia
nation
or something like that.
Yeah, Estonia.
Yeah. So these guys are already professionals. I wouldn't consider them young guys that are inexperienced. These guys have professional experience. Like I said, the only young guy that I would consider, and at this point probably not anymore, is Brian Gutierrez, fresh out of the academy. You know, but now obviously he has a couple of years now. I wouldn't consider him a young guy. You know, I consider Victor Brazzero a young guy because he's fresh out of college. But when guys have professional experience, to me, they're not young guys anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in a locker room. They've been in situations where they need to score goals. They need to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they've been playing in professional leagues.
Yes. So they're saying Casper had a fantastic goal. What did you think of that goal? To me, that was a striker's goal for sure. Yeah. I mean, like the way he knew what he was doing. He purposely shot it down at the ground so it would bounce like that.
It will bounce. That's a smart move.
A real smart move.
How many games do we have to wait for another one to happen?
That's the question with Kasper Przybilko, isn't it?
How many more games?
Let's find out how many tallies he's got on the season, because I think that was like his third. I just want to confirm. 3 goals on the season, 11 matches played. 3 goals in 830 minutes.
And Tehran has 2 goals.
Wow. So our striker has a goal every 276 minutes.
That's not good.
That's not. That's horrific. That's not good enough. When your striker has a goal every 276 minutes, something ain't working. I don't know if it's him or if it's the tactics, but something ain't working, unfortunately. Something ain't working.
And yeah, so.
Stodes has a good question here because you were talking about what you were saying that what encapsulates the professional experience. Would you say that someone on Fire 2, some of the Fire 2 players would be professional? I would say some of them because they do practice with the club.
Yes, some of them, yes.
But not all of them.
But if you, like I said, they
practice regularly. Let me say that again. Practice regularly with the club.
Yeah, you might get the vibe of it, but unless you played in a professional match like League One or in this case MLS, and just MLS 1 or whatever they call it, I guess you'd probably be considered professional. Now MLS 2, I kind of consider it more in line with academy products, and I wouldn't necessarily call them full-blown professionals. I'd probably say they're maybe semi-pros. Because you'll get a much different vibe when you walk out into an MLS when you're playing your Atlantas and your Seattles versus playing in a high school field versus Seattle 2 or Atlanta 2 or whatever. And if you look around MLS 2, a lot of these teams play in like small fields, practice fields too.
So that's asking a good question, though. How many games has Casper had with Mueller, Shaqiri, and Torres together? Justice won, but he's had a lot of games with Shaq.
He's had a lot of games with Shaq. He couldn't make it happen.
He couldn't make it happen. So they say it all comes back to not having your starting 11 here right away. And pair that with some of the injuries and the crazy calls from the ref. Okay. And that flips 3 games. I mean, it's a difference, the 3 games, and we were in the playoffs. So and that way, yeah.
So slowly, let me tell you this. So if the next 5 games Shabilko can't score, would you admit that it's a bust? If we have the full lineup,
I can admit Shabilko's a bust right now. I mean, you just look at the 276 minutes per goal. Probably one of the worst strikers in all of MLS. Exactly.
I mean, did we wait this long for Berge to score? I think Berge probably scored a little more often than this. I'm not sure.
Berge was just the same. He's the exact same.
Yeah.
They're good for 8 to 12 goals a season. That means 276 minutes per goal.
If you're only scoring 8 to 12 goals, you better have something on the assist sheet too.
Yes, and we're not. I don't know. Are we seeing that from Casper?
No, I haven't seen anything. All I've seen is errant passes from Casper, or him just getting mad at the ref because he missed a sitter and he wants to say it's a corner kick.
I take a little umbrage with this, and now not just a little, because there's truth to it. Because the starting 11 has not been here. The starting 11 literally only just landed here in the 14th game. The full starting 11, but
we lost.
Who is that on? Who the fuck is that on? That 14 goddamn games into the season, we just now have our starting lineup together. That's on fucking Georg Heitz, who came into the season limp-dicked, guys. Yep. Absolute limp-dicked it, and then it's just desperation move after desperation move, compounding the misery. It's a misery compiler here in Chicago. I'm spitting fucking fire right now.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me when you're working on a group project at school, and you always get that one guy or that one person that freaking rushes through everything in last minute because he decided to hang out. That's Gaylord Heights. He waited to the last minute before he decided to make moves.
Berge went 11 games without a goal. Get him out of my team. Oh, wait, we already did. Thank God.
And we got a Berge 0.2.
And we got Berge 2.0. I've been saying it all fucking season. If you guys listen to the show, I know you do. I call him Berge 2.0. Why? Because he's the same fucking Casper, the friendly ghost that Berge was. He ain't gonna be the difference maker on an MLS winning capable team. An MLS suck dick team, they're great.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what too is like
Having
I
fun
mean,
talking with you guys, by the way.
how much slack are we gonna give this guy? We have to admit we fucked up.
We have to admit at some point we fucked up. And maybe we fucked up with Ezra. Did we fuck up with Garrick Heights? Yes. Did we fuck up with Ezra? I don't know yet. I want to believe in Ezra. I so want to believe in Ezra Hendrickson. I know what Garrett Slowdays is saying, but on Heights, I can't. I didn't believe for 3 years, and then the beginning of the season, I started to believe in Garrick Heights, and now I'm here and I'm out.
But the thing is, Ezra has been, he's been under managers that are winners. True. And you would think that these guys have not been in situations where their best player is hurt and somehow they managed to come on top. You think these guys haven't made changes on the lineup or even the formation change because, hey, we lost our best player in this position. We should compensate by moving that formation around. You don't think those guys did stuff like that, but yet Ezra is here with that stupid expression on his face, wondering why we can't win.
That Kasper Przybyłko is a TAM player is a fucking joke, chat. He's a TAM player that's a fucking joke. He's pedestrian as fuck. You want to know what he's good at? He's good at being fucking tall. And I like him. I like the guy, but also, and he's a nice guy, but he's good at being fucking tall.
He's good at kicking field goals. That he should be trying out for the Bears.
I need him to be good at scoring goals.
Yeah, he's good at getting the ball into row Z.
And then blaming the invisible guy next to him.
Exactly, and getting mad at the ref only to get himself a yellow card.
So they're saying I agree with this on Heights. Matt's asking, can you stream the Whitecaps game? No, man, I'm sorry. I was planning to do post game here and then closing down and going to have a great rest of the weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day, by everybody. By the way.
Yep, happy Memorial Day. We have to wait 2 weeks to see what how the Fire is gonna respond.
Oh my God! You're right. We got weeks before the next game. Let's double check the schedule right here. June 18th. June 18th? No. Wow.
But yeah,
that's nuts.
But yeah, so we have to wait 2 weeks for the Fire to respond to this loss. And if they lose again, we know that the team is pretty much nosediving. I don't know.
June 18th versus DC United. Somebody from the chat's going to be at that game. I do hope that they're able to win that. That'll be at home at Soldier Field.
Yeah, I'll be at that game.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is why I say that if the Fire were ever to win the MLS Cup, years from now or whatever, I'm going to cry.
It's been a journey, man. If we get there, we got to get there.
I'm probably going to start crying.
Dude, the effort and the team, you started coming on the show and talking Fire, and you already been a season ticket for 10 years.
What do you need, the coach?
The effort and the care you put into the Fire, I know it means a lot to us, dude.
Yeah, and it hasn't been easy.
No.
It hasn't been easy to support this team. I've been a season ticket holder since 2011. And there's been times where it's like, why am I even doing this? Why am I throwing money in a dumpster and lighting it on fire?
The hope.
And I love this team, but I wish this team will actually play to win. Will actually win. Not even play to win, just win. I don't care if you win dirty. I don't care if you win ugly, but just win.
You want to see this team play for keeps. And for years, we've not, and you know what I mean, play for keeps. Like, they give a fucking damn.
Exactly.
And sometimes you see individuals on the team who give a fucking damn. But when you see the whole fucking team giving a fucking damn, that's when magic happens.
And that's the thing is that, we've dealt with guys like Cowboy that talk big but play like crap.
Yep.
We've dealt with guys that don't give a crap.
Mm-hmm. And we've had guys who bleed for this team, but maybe they're not MLS the best, Yeah. It comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. And
it's hard, and the fact is that, we used to complain, we don't have a owner that gives a fuck. And now we have a GM that doesn't know what he's doing, and we're here with a rookie coach that doesn't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and it's hard to debate that because if you just look at the results, you look at the last 4 years of Georg Heitz, you look at the last 14 games of Ezra Hendrickson, you look at the statistics of his offense compared to all of the offense and defense statistics of all the other teams. Chicago Fire is one of the worst offensive teams in the league.
Exactly. You would think
and
that
that's not just because MLS is like is a new coach. There's lots of new coaches out there that aren't struggling as bad as Ezra Hendrickson is right now with this amount of talent that is clearly better than what the talent here was last year. That's the issue.
And you would think that after the third or fourth game, when he realized, wow, we're not scoring a lot of goals, maybe I should switch up the formation and try something else. You know, no, we're just going to keep playing defensively. Somehow, some way, the offense is going to kick back on and we're going to score goals. No. And the opposite has fallen. The opposite has happened. We are leaking goals now. We are slowly becoming more of the middle of the road type of team when it comes to the defensive, getting scored on. We used to be, Gaga has 5 clean sheets. Doesn't matter anymore. He's getting beat a lot. And he could have I honestly believe he could have done a better job with that third goal.
Dude, the first goal. That first goal was bad.
And the thing is, the first goal, I give him credit, it went through somebody's legs, and sometimes it's hard to react.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Tony Muyola even mentioned that, hey, it went through somebody's legs, hard to react. But the third goal, that literally jumped off the bar, you couldn't react in time to see, oh, wait, maybe I could tip it over? And I don't know.
Made me a little nervous. Made me a little nervous about Gaga. But I felt like during the game, after the first goal, he got stronger. He started to heat up again. But then you pointed out that last goal. That ruins your confidence again. Just when it was building back up.
Exactly. And I hate every team that Fires plays against. I really do. I'm not a fan of any other MLS teams. I could give a shit. How well Section 8, has some sort of friendship with another, supporters. I could give a shit. I hate every team that plays against the Fire. I hate fucking Cincinnati. I fucking hate their fans. I hate Toronto. I hate their fucking fans too. I don't care less about any other teams. I don't even give a fuck. If this, I think there were some sort of issues going on with Cincinnati fans or something, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Something I read on Reddit or
Union Omaha fans were the Fire fans. Yeah, Fire fans were getting into it. Union Omaha fans.
If this was in South America, and you were the away fan, you probably will not be getting involved with the home team's fans, because at that point you're probably playing with your life.
That's dangerous. Yeah, that's dangerous.
And that's dangerous.
America definitely a little bit different, but still, you don't need to start that trouble. And we've seen bad things happen outside the fucking Padres game and or I don't know, it was one of the the Dodgers game or something.
There was even a fight between Red Bull fans and NYFC fans.
Yeah, Jesus.
In the middle of the streets. So
the Champions League game got delayed 30 minutes. I think some fans got into a fight.
Exactly. So I hate the fact that a lot of these fans, they take privilege to that, where they feel the need to flick off the home team fans, talk garbage.
It's like they think that they're still behind their Twitter screen.
Exactly.
Doesn't it? People are starting to act like they're still hiding behind their Twitter screen, but no, you're out in public. You talk shit, you just might get hit.
And you're in Chicago, out of all places, too. So there you go. Once you walk away from Soldier Field, you're pretty much on your own. Not saying that I'm trying to incite violence or anything like that, but the fact is, a lot of these fans do get carried away. A lot of these supporter fans do get carried away, and this is why I hate every other MLS team. I don't care if that supporter group over there, they really helped me when I was in when I went away, with the Fire. I don't care, and I don't give credit where credit's due. I don't care if you say, oh no, but Toronto, they hustled, they won, fair and square. I don't care.
You're just a Fire fan. I'm MLS soccer, and so I'm a little bit more of both, but I know what you mean, dude. You're just like, why do I have to give a shit about the other team? I just want the Fire to win. Fuck 'em.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about the Blackhawks. That's how I feel about every other team in the NHL. Fuck them. Every other
Fuck
team
'em.
in MLB besides the White Sox, fuck them. Even the Cubs, fuck them.
Exactly.
If the Cubs are playing the White Sox, okay, I'll say go Cubs. But if the Cubs are playing the White Sox, fuck them.
The thing is, like,
every
I'll
single
watch.
NBA team, there is no place where I feel this more, DPG, than an NBA. Fuck every single NBA team besides the Bulls. Fuck y'all.
Exactly.
Not
That's
just,
how I feel about the Fire.
but come trickle in, hang out. Yeah, I'm just having some fun. We're having some playful banter.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, I get it. If you're cool with me, like, let's say, you're visiting from Ohio and you're checking out Columbus Crew play against the Fire Soldier Field. If you don't go overboard and you're cool and you keep it respectable, hey, I'll keep it respectable too, and and if you're in trouble, hey, I'll back you up.
Oh, it's pretty easy to be respectable too. I mean, like,
Exactly.
and also it's also cool. You have your banter. There's so many times where I have amazing, fun jives or I don't know, jovial banter with people from the other team, where we're talking shit to each other, but it's so fun. And we know where that line is.
Exactly.
Like,
and these are the kind of guys that you'll go, to a bar maybe after the game and have a beer and just laugh it off or whatever.
Exactly.
But if you're over here, telling everybody to fuck off and fuck Chicago and this and that, and yeah, you're asking for an ass beating.
And you're in the best city in the world, and you're gonna fucking say that? You're fucking mental. You're fucking crazy.
And the reason I brought this up is because, when I was watching the Toronto game, I just saw a lot of these Toronto fans, flicking off Fire players and all that.
Oh, I did see that. I didn't like that. I kind of ignored it, but I did see that.
So this is why I don't like your fucking team. In fact, if we're up to me, I don't even cheer for other MLS teams in the CONCACAF Champions League. I could care less.
So you'd be like my buddy. We had earlier. We were watching Liverpool versus Real Madrid. I like Manchester United, but there's other Manchester United fans that absolutely hate Liverpool. Well, I don't. I like Liverpool. Yeah. They're like my second APL team. And
I'm cut off from that cloth.
But it's sacrilege. It was sacrilege for some Man United fans to hear I was like saying, "Go Liverpool." I was like, I just like Liverpool. I was a Michael Owen fan. He was my guy.
He was decent until he went to Real Madrid. But
and Man U. Oh.
Yeah. But the thing is, going back to Ezra, if he doesn't get his shit together the next couple of games, and if he doesn't do something differently, then at that point, you might have to start questioning his managerial ability.
But you can't go to Klopas. Like, that's what they did before. They went to Klopas.
Yeah, somehow Klopas actually got wins.
But Klopas did get wins. Oh, we can't forget about that. Maybe it's time for Frank. Maybe it's time for Frank.
He managed to get wins. That's the crazy thing. And I think if somebody even brought up that stat, that Klopas has been the most winningest, Fire coach that we've had like in the past 10 years.
Maybe it's time to give him a shot.
But that's on him. Maybe he likes being an assistant manager. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But he can make stuff happen too.
Yeah.
Well, look, I got to go Saturday night. I got to go hang out with the wife.
Go hang out. Go have fun. It's been beautiful. DPG, thanks for hanging out, man. Talking Sire. It's always a blast talking with you.
All right, man. Until next time, I'll see you. We'll see if we bring up another chat in a couple of days or in a week or so.
Sure thing. We got 2 weeks till the next freaking game here, so we'll have to do something to survive.
Oh, you could watch USA play.
Oh, USA's gonna be playing. Oh, that'll be on the evening. All right. Maybe I'll do a stream for that.
All right. Sounds good, man. You take it easy.
All right, DPG. Have a good weekend. Have a great one. All the care to the family. Have you guys have fun, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right. Sounds good. Take it easy. Same to you.
Will do. All right, chat. Thank you so much for joining us here on Spitting Fire. I'm going to clip this, and put this out for you guys to enjoy. We'll catch you on the next stream. Make sure you guys hit that bell icon. It would utterly delight us if you subscribe to Spitting Fire. Hit that bell icon, because I already asked you. I've asked you twice. Kick that like button. It does a lot to help burn down the YouTube algorithms and spread Chicago Fire soccer and soccer to the YouTube world. And we'll catch you on the next stream. It's a beautiful day, chat. Go enjoy yourself. We set the tone for the week. Chicago Fire, some things that they need to improve upon, and hopefully they can get it done here. We got the next stream for Chicago Fire in like 2 weeks, but we'll be live every Wednesday. We got streams for you, and we'll be also having some fun streams for you on the weekends as well. So check that out. We'll catch you guys on the next stream. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for watching Spitting Fire. Go Fire! They need to turn it around. All right, Fire fans, put your comments below. What do you think that the Fire needs to change? Do you think it's time to pull the plug on this project? But where do you go? Do you go to Frank Klopas? Do you go to someone else that we have not yet talked about? Do you go to CJ Brown, who's already there and waiting in line too? CJ and Frank, and let them see what they can do, taking Ezra out of the picture. I don't know if it's the time yet. Let us know in the comments below, though. We'd love to read them. We'd love reading your comments. Thank you for joining, guys. Join Spitting Fire. Click the join button. It'll change your life and mine, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Let's go! Fired up. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys later.